Come in. Sit down for a moment. I don't need anything from you. I'm not selling anything. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just an old man who has seen enough of life to know. Before it's too late for the person who needs to hear them, that some things need to be said plainly. My name is Arthur, and I am 99 years old. I still wake up before the sun.
Not because I have somewhere to be, but because after nearly a century on this earth, I have learned that the early hours belong to a different kind of quiet, the kind that lets you hear yourself think, the kind that most people, I have noticed, spend their whole lives running from. You are probably not running from quiet right now. You're here, watching this. And something about that tells me you are looking for something. Maybe rest, maybe answers, maybe just the feeling that someone, somewhere, understands the weight you have been carrying. I understand it. I have carried weight that would have broken a younger version of me, and for a long time it did. There was a period in my late 60s, I won't dress it up, when I was certain that my body was settling a debt my mind had been running from for decades. My chest was tight most mornings. Not from illness, the doctors kept telling me. Everything on the charts looked, in their words, acceptable. But I did not feel acceptable. I felt like a house that had been left unlocked in a storm for 40 years. The doors were still on the hinges, the roof was still standing, but inside everything was damp and cold and rearranged. I had spent my working life doing what I believed a man was supposed to do. I carried the worry of my family the way you carry a brick in each hand, never putting them down, not even to sleep. I worried about money when we had it and when we didn't. I worried about my children when they were young and when they grew up and made choices I didn't understand. I worried about what people thought, about whether I had done enough, been enough. I mistook that worry for love. I thought the tightness in my chest was just what responsibility felt like. I was wrong, and that mistake cost me more than I knew. The moment that changed everything for me was not dramatic. It did not arrive as a lightning bolt or a revelation on a mountaintop. It arrived on a Tuesday afternoon in a garden that had no business being as beautiful as it was. My wife, Eleanor, God rest her, had planted roses along the back wall of our home sometime in the 1970s, pale yellow ones. She loved them in a way that embarrassed me slightly at the time because she would talk to them, actually speak to them softly, the way you'd speak to a child who is almost asleep. After she passed, I let the garden go. For almost 3 years, I walked past that wall every day and looked at the overgrown tangle it had become and felt nothing but an ache so deep it had no name. And then one Tuesday, ordinary, gray, unremarkable, I saw that one of those roses had come back. Without me, without water from my hand, without permission, without an audience. It had just decided to bloom again. I stood there for a long time, long enough that my neighbor came out to check if I was all right. And I thought, not in words exactly, but in the way old men think, which is more like a feeling that arrives fully formed. I thought, the thing that is trying to survive does not need your suffering in order to do it. I did not immediately become a new man. I want to be honest with you about that. But something shifted, a fraction of a degree, the way tectonic plates move, invisible, and then suddenly everything is in a different place. I found slowly that I had been confusing stress with vigilance. I had believed somewhere deep and unexamined that if I worried hard enough about the people I loved and the life I had built, I was somehow protecting it. That my anxiety was a kind of armor. But armor, I finally saw, doesn't protect the person wearing it. It just makes them heavier. The brilliant people I have watched leave this world too soon, and I have watched many, more than I care to count, who were not weak people. They were not careless people. They were, almost without exception, the most devoted, responsible, caring people I have ever known. And they burned, not loudly, not dramatically, the way a candle burns, steadily, faithfully, and then one day, simply, there is no more wax. What was never written on any of their death certificates was this, that for decades before the end, their bodies were quietly paying the bill for a mind that was never allowed to rest. The heart keeps its own ledger, and it does not forgive the same debt twice. I am 99 years old, and I will tell you what my days look like now. I wake before dawn, and I sit with the silence for a while, not meditating in any formal sense, just sitting, letting the mind settle the way silt settles in still water. Unhurried, I eat simply. I move slowly through my small garden. The roses are extraordinary now, by the way. I read in the afternoon. I speak to my grandchildren when they call, and I listen more than I speak, because I have found that listening is its own kind of gift. I do not watch the news in the evenings anymore. I decided somewhere in my early 90s that there is a difference between being informed and being submerged, and I had been submerged for far too long. I sleep deeply, like a man who has made peace with the day, whatever it brought. This is not the life of a man who gave up. This is the life of a man who finally put down the bricks. Here is the quiet truth that took me the longest to learn. The body is not separate from the mind. It is not a vehicle the mind merely drives. It is the same thing, one continuous, listening, responsive thing, and it hears every thought you have about it, every fear, every act of violence you commit against your own peace. I have seen it now in almost a century of living. The people who age most beautifully, not in appearance, but in the deeper sense, in the sense that matters, are the ones who learned, at some point, to stop treating their own inner life like an emergency. They found a way to hold their worries the way you hold water in cupped hands, knowing some of it will slip through, accepting that, not grieving what's gone. That is not passivity. That is, I believe, the most difficult and most important work a human being can do. I don't know what you are carrying today. I don't know what keeps you awake at night, or what tightness lives somewhere behind your sternum that you've quietly learned to ignore. I don't know what you have been calling normal for so long that you've forgotten it was a choice. But I know this. That rose on Eleanor's wall did not ask for permission to come back. It did not wait until conditions were perfect. It did not require an audience or an apology for the years of neglect, or a guarantee that it wouldn't be ignored again. It simply held in whatever way a living thing holds, the knowledge of what it was supposed to be. And then, when the season was right, it became it. You still have seasons, my friend, more than you think. And the most important thing you can do with them is not to fill them, but to let them breathe. That's all I wanted to say. Take good care of yourself, not for anyone else's sake, just because you are worth the care.